I would say let's top it off just in case, because we don't know. You start with a full tank, you know you've got enough. Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Well, first of all, Kyle and Dad decided to leave the country and go fishing up in Canada for the week. So we're stuck here working while they play around. So you guys are stuck with Dustin and I for at least the next couple videos. But for now, I think we're going to get Dustin back on the chopper. Roadsides will not quit growing. So we're going to knock them down. And I walked back there to check tires. But I got distracted. But we're going to knock roadsides down again. Get them cleaned up. It's a random fence post. Won't stay up?
Springs aren't holding it.
What in the world? Can't have anything nice around here.
Do they go out normally?
I've never had them go out.
Well, your dad, when he parked it, I raised it up to look to see if I can.
Look at that reaction time. I thought it was holding it. It must have caught on something.
To see if I could find a battery disconnect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, this hood doesn't stay up. He's like, it's not holding itself? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, okay.
Piece of junk green machines.
We're working at 2 hours.
She's tired. Got food, water, and enough fuel?
I hope so.
So he's good for the day.
Yep.
Alright, well, no offense to Dustin, but hope I don't hear from him for the rest of the day. That means he's doing well and we don't have any problems. Alright, well, we ran by Jitville, or we passed Jitville on the way to the chopper this morning, and I noticed there were a couple cranes sitting in the drive. So looks like they're finally going to put up the downspouts for the new wet holding bin today. So gonna run by there real quick. Alright, well, I don't want to bother them too much. They're just getting set up. So, looks like that's going to be a couple day project. They've got, I think, two downspouts to kind of rearrange, and then they've got the new one to put up on the wet holding. So, kind of doing some rearranging, trying to make things flow a little better once we're done. I am headed north back to the wheat stubble, which I have not seen in a couple weeks. Last time I checked it on video was the last time I've seen it. So weeds probably are drastically different. Well, it actually looks a lot better out here than I expected. All the tall stuff you see is basically grass, and then this kind of low-lying cover is all your volunteer wheat coming up. I think it's best that I go ahead and come up and spray. But I think a heavy dose of Roundup and 2,4-D is all I'm going to need, because that'll take care of the wheat and grass. And there's not much else out there. I'm sure there's other weeds out there, obviously, but not enough pressure to warrant putting much more money into anything else, any other products. All right, well, made it back to the shop. Figured out that my 2,4-D is in here. not on the spray trailer. So I'm gonna have to get that pulled out real quick. I'll probably just add that last. Just pull the sprayer in here real quick and add it in over the top. I'm not gonna worry about putting it on the spray trailer. That one's almost empty, but I believe I got close to 1,000 gallons in there. So I got plenty of water. Got almost 100 gallons of Roundup, so I got plenty of Roundup. Alright. I think this is the only bag of AMS I've got, and it's a little heavy. But I think if I can break it up enough, I think I should be able to use it. Let's go with the dead blow. I'm gonna make sure it breaks up before I start mixing the sprayer in case I have to go get a bag. Okay. I'm gonna have to beat on it a little more. Got some big chunks in there still, but I think I'll make it work. Good thing the sprayer was the last thing I pulled in. I don't have to move anything to get this thing backed out. Man, it's been a few weeks since I've been in this thing. Alright, well, I've got a little bit of water in here from when I rinsed out from bean fungicide. So that'll be enough for me to get AMS mixed up first. I'm gonna take this slow and easy, that way I know I got all my big chunks broke up. I don't have a semi hooked up, which means I need a battery. Alright, got that taken care of. It'd be nice to start pumping, but I can't seem to get my motor to run. So, since I'm only worried about the one load, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna load with the sprayer. Alright, last thing we got to mess with now is the 2,4-D. Well, I wouldn't want to load it every time that way, but it's pretty painless for just one time. Alright, well, I finally have all my chemical in, but I just realized, no. I thought I finished beans last with Liberty, but the last thing I finished was fungicide. So I do have the correct nozzles. I thought I was going to have to switch nozzles, but I don't, thank goodness. It's not hard, I didn't want to do it. I'm lazy. I think I'm ready to head north. Can't forget to stop first. Alright, well, we finally made it. Well, I can tell you right now, I should have checked my nozzles before I started. I've got quite a few that are spraying funky, so I'm gonna have to do my look ahead. Alright, well, it turns out I had about 5 or 6 nozzles plugged, but I'll kind of walk you guys through one. So I got to take it out. And then basically, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but there's 2 tiny holes, and I've got a piece of tag that has a really thin wire that works perfectly, but I just feed it through. See, that's the hole right there that's plugged. Yeah, you guys aren't going to be able to see this well, but I literally just feed it through each, make sure it goes through, and then go to the other one, push it through, and then I can hold those up to the sun, and if I see light, I know they're not plugged anymore. And then this one was plugged too. Check one, that one's good. Oh, and there was a little piece right there. I'm gonna go ahead and go through, get the rest of these, and we'll get back to spraying. Alright, well, my boom's spraying good. Just got the border of the field done. And let me tell you, crossing these tile lines is rough. Most of the field I'm going with the tile lines, but I have a short section right here where I have to cross them. Camera probably does not make it look that rough, but even on air ride it's bouncing me. But good thing there's not too many passes like this. Well, I can already tell that I have probably cut it a little too close on my chemical, because I'm not sure I'm going to have enough to finish. It's going to be close regardless. Hope I make it. Alright, finally finished. So, had to lower my rate a little bit on the last few passes to make sure I had enough, which I don't like doing at all. But it's better than leaving a whole pass with nothing on it. And I was pretty confident I'm running a high enough rate of Roundup and 2,4-D that even cutting it back a little bit was still going to kill everything, especially since it's mainly wheat, which is not Roundup ready, and grass, which dies easily out there. So I'm not too worried about it, but got that field finished. And now we just give it a week or so to die, and we'll come back up here soon to work down the tile lines with the 2660. So all that work to get ready, get up here, and it's done. And now I have another 45-minute trek back home. We'll see you guys back at the shop. All right, made it safely, and now with the engine nice and hot, I am just over my hours for an oil change. So I'm gonna get things set up, get this oil dropped out, and probably let it sit overnight. Always gotta start with the tarp, because I know I'm gonna make a mess of this. And that, honestly, might be too tall. Now that I think about it, I think this is what I used last time. Ah. She broke loose. And she is hot. So normally the way this works, because we don't take the time to get something big enough, is we dump as much of it as we can in a 5-gallon bucket, and then we slide this over and the rest goes in this makeshift barrel. But it's usually not done at head level. It's usually on the ground, which is easier. So, sit back and enjoy, because I guarantee this is about to make a mess. You know what? I'm either going to love it or hate myself for this, but I'm going to see if this all fits, because there's no way I'm doing that without dropping that whole bucket. Okay, any second now. Oh, we got to be getting close. Oh, that's hot, but I had no choice. Woo! Okay. Well, I know why Dad does it in a 5-gallon bucket now. Because not only did it not all fit, now I have an extremely full tub I got to deal with. That was not my smartest move. I honestly thought it would fit. If I'd have known it wasn't going to fit, I would have stopped at about 2 gallons sooner. Mistakes were made. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw before or can tell now, but literally that's the level of the oil. I just made an easy job really hard. I don't expect this to go smoothly, but my plan is to lift that and just set it on there. Since I've got a bigger area here, I can slowly tip it and dump it right in there. So that's my thought, but we'll see if that actually works. Any ideas how heavy this actually is? I may have to rethink this. This is what happens when Dad leaves me at home for a week. Unsupervised. And it doesn't help that literally I just full throttled this sprayer 45 minutes home. And this oil's like, it's got to be 200 degrees. Oh yeah. And normally we would just carry this out, but there's no way I'm doing this by myself. So I'm just going to dump it in here because I know I can roll this out myself. See? Not a problem. And that's the problem with YouTube. If we didn't have a channel, I wouldn't be recording this and nobody would have been the wiser. Oh yeah. And there's still more oil in the engine. There wasn't much left in there, but there was enough it would have made an absolute mess. Okay, now that we got that whole fiasco out of the way, back to serious matters. So while that's draining, there's no reason I can't go ahead and swap this filter out. And there was actually, if you can hear that, I actually broke a seal or an airlock and allowed the rest of the oil that was up in this to drain. One thing I do love about these tractors though is that they're just cartridge filters. Pop. And put the old one in there. Old O-ring out. And then the nice thing, you got a little bit of oil left in here that's still warm. Lather up the... Take the new one. Pop it on. Like I said, I'm going to let that drain overnight. We typically like to let as much of the oil drain out as possible. So that's kind of, and then by morning everything's cool and you're not burning yourself any more than you already have. Filters changed and replaced. I've got the service interval reset on the monitor, and I've got the oil change written down on our maintenance records already. So nothing else left to do on that besides fill it with oil. I'm going to run back over to Jitville and see how much progress they've made with the crane today, because we are going to be hauling corn tomorrow and I will kind of need access to the leg and the bins in order to fill the trucks and move grain out. So hopefully they've gotten along well. I guess we'll have to go see. Well, looky there. Looky who's still mowing. Well, just talked to the guys working on the bin for quite a bit. They're in the middle of it, but luckily for us, you're not really going to be able to tell any difference, but that spout has been swapped with our hopper spout, and basically the hopper is now usable again. That work is done. That was just a simple switch on that. The only thing that changed for us right now is our hopper section on the distributor is now the northeast. So those basically swapped. I moved the distributor over to the new hole, and we are good to start hauling tomorrow. Show you what we got going for us. If the door's open, you know what that means? Time to get the sweeps going. Well, I'm out of here. I'm going to let them finish up. All I know is they got enough done that we can run tomorrow. So that's a big thumbs up. That's what we needed. Alright guys, well that is going to conclude for today. Hey, did you guys know that it takes a beehive 55,000 miles of flight to make 1 pound of honey? Who knew? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.